Hello, hello. That works. Okay, we're gonna turn on this mic. In the meantime, Nate is gonna try to fix our real mic because this is not our good mic. And Ritesh, I'm sorry. In the meantime, Nate is gonna try to fix our real mic.
Let's not get this going because it's gonna loop back on us. Hold on a second.
And
There we go.
okay. All right. Oh, did you just unplug that?
No. I just plugged it in more.
You know, there's always a few technical difficulties
With things. There is.
Yeah, wow, it's bright. Guys, this is live show 38. We're getting a little bit of a slow start, mostly because Nate was watching YouTube videos and just chilling while I got everything ready.
I have been very distracted today. I feel like my
That's true. You said you're distracted, and then I looked over and you're watching YouTube videos.
it's bad.
Again.
It's like my focus ability declines.
I'm gonna drug him in his type 2 when he gets out.
End of Thursday and Friday, and I was looking at some things. I wanted to look into our analytics.
It's not even the end of the week, man. It's Thursday morning.
I know. Well, I work from home on Fridays, and he doesn't know what I do or don't do, so it feels like the end of the week. And yeah, I was originally going on YouTube for something, and then I watched something else, and then I talked to you about it, and then 20 minutes later, it's wait, what was I going on there for?
I know.
It's
the state of our world. You know what we're talking about today is breathing, meditation, and running.
Mm-hmm. Focus.
Don't worry, don't take any advice from him.
Meditation master.
I'm going to be taking this one on.
Oh, man.
But first of all, guys, thank you for signing in, and let us know where you're signing in from. We already have a lot of people responding and jumping in there. See some familiar faces. Troy, what is up? Running Geek Girl. Joy McMullen, that's a new one. I haven't seen you before. Hi, welcome. Anesh Kumar, welcome. Tell us where you're signing in from. Tell us what's happening in your running life right now. We are here to answer questions, basically just shoot the shit and talk about specific topics. Today's topic is about breathing and meditation. This is an area that Nate and I, both have similar approaches and different approaches, right? Because you've taken some training around deep breathing and nose breathing, all that stuff. And I am on the meditation side. I do a lot of meditation, and you've started doing meditation as well last year.
Dude, I have had the Headspace app on my phone probably since 2015.
And then he
15, 16, 17, this will be the 4th year.
And he watched mostly YouTube videos, but he finally opened up the app last week, right? Is that right? He watches YouTube videos about how to meditate.
I do. I read articles, and, I look at Twitter feed. I scroll through Twitter.
So we never got that mic working, huh?
Let me see. Are you not getting anything right now?
No.
It's all plugged in, as far as I can tell. Dirt Patch Heaven says, ice storms are keeping me off the street, so I'm using treadmills when it is safe to drive to the gym. My goodness. Joyce says, Florida running is hot. No kidding. Dirt Patch, beginner runner working on breathing. I love that. Well, this will be a good show for you. Running Geek Girl says, nothing but rain in Arkansas. Please send some rain our way. We definitely need it. Tony, definitely running has also helped me to breathe better and at least manage it to be able to run longer for sure. What was that meditation app you used? I've used something called Headspace, which I really, really liked over the last couple of years.
Is this not working the way that I think it's working?
I'm not following you.
I'm just doing technical,
We're just
How do you
doing
guys
some
feel
messy
about our
things around.
backdrop? Our backdrop has improved greatly over the last few months. You want to
It
turn
has.
this heat down a little
I'm
bit?
going to turn the heat down.
Yeah, it's a little steamy in here. I'm trying to make sure that we're live on Facebook, so you can go ahead and talk about.
I think we're live on Facebook.
Are we?
I see us on our Facebook page.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we're good
It
here.
was just me that was. Okay.
Yeah, what's up, Bob? Bob from Houston, Jason, Daniel, all coming in. Lee from the Facebook feed as well. Anyway, I'll drop this link in there, but I've used this thing called the Headspace app.
From Houston, Jason, Daniel.
You're right.
And it has this really cool, free, take 10.
Is it
Headspace, like progression, which kind of on-ramps you, and it talks about sort of different aspects of it. It doesn't go like too...
Doesn't go guru.
It doesn't go too guru on you. It's like, it's relatively secular. It's like, hey, you're a busy person, you live, in somewhere where technology abounds and you've got stresses from all these different areas, like, this is like how this can help you to find a little headspace. But anyway, like the first initial 10 meditation things are awesome. They have these like short little animated things that just get you like thinking about it in a different way. So I've enjoyed it. I've done the free 10 thing multiple times.
Oh, okay.
And then now they actually have like a daily meditation thing, which they drop out, which I really enjoy. And you can select. You could do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 or longer. What do you do?
How many people here have tried meditation before for whatever reason? Whether it's when I was little and we were doing like sports prep, like we do when I was on the swim team and for my running coaching, we would do like, I don't know, what would you call it? I wouldn't call it meditation, but we would do basically like mental prep exercises where we'd visualize ourselves and visualize the goal and that sort of thing. Now I do 15 to 20 minutes every morning.
Yeah.
I would say that on the weekends, it's a little variable depending on what happens and how I get up.
usually don't on the weekends, but I feel like I should. I feel like I'm usually like good with like 5 days in a row, but I haven't moved to like the 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
Does that change things?
For me, the changing things, I go to a meditation group on Wednesdays, and I meet with a teacher. It's a group of like 20 people, and that is available in a lot of places. I mean, I didn't realize how many of those. I mean, I live in California, so it's definitely more available here than maybe in other places because the kind of culture is around it. But there are a lot of free meditation places you can go. You can look it up in your community. And I would, if you start getting into the daily practice, I would recommend trying one of those things out. They are, a lot of times they're in a Buddhist philosophy, which is not a religion. It's so, that doesn't counter anything necessarily that you are practicing on your own. And then I have even gone full hog now, and I go to a meditation retreat, which is a silent meditation retreat for 7 days every year. It's
so hard. Like the first few times I remember sitting down, like I became very aware of how often I have something being thrown at my face, like this morning that I'm deliberately throwing at my face all the time.
Yeah.
And you almost feel itchy when you try to remove that, even for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to like go with like no stimulus for 10 minutes. And if you're that person who like checks their phone at a stop sign in their car,
right?
You know what I mean? Or like you're walking, or any like small break, you have the opportunity to pull this out. It can help make you aware of that and break some of that.
So one of the common, I think, misconceptions around meditation and kind of its application to other parts of your life, and specifically running, is that I think the outside viewpoint and viewpoint that I had before was that when you are meditating, you should be in a tranquil state. And that what you're doing is trying to give yourself 15 minutes of a tranquil state. And so when people try meditating and their mind's all over the place, which it is for all of us, then the idea is, well, I'm not good at meditation.
Right.
And in reality, meditation is actually a lot like running. And then I want to tie it back into like how I got to meditation. But I mean, meditation is a lot like running in that, if you go running for the first time, is that run representative of who you are as a runner? No, it's representative of like, okay, well, it's my first time running, my first time putting shoes on. I get tired after a mile or half a mile. Like that's what happens is I haven't meditated or haven't run before. And so the idea with meditation is that it's a practice. So you're practicing something that you can take into the rest of your life. The same way that in running, you are running, but it's not just running as an isolated activity. One, you might be training for something later on, but also it's like running makes you healthier and like as an active person
kind of like
through the rest of your life.
Kind of like you're gonna drink water and you're gonna sleep, and you're not trying to be the best water drinker. I mean, we could like drink more water, but the notion of I do this sort of every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's something really interesting about the analogy of running to meditation, because I think athletes are actually a great candidate for trying meditation because the time you start meditating, like the first time you run out the door and you put on your shoes, you're not expecting that you're going to reap all the benefits of running on that first day. You might get a little bit of an endorphin kick from the run, and similarly for meditation, you might get a little bit of like, oh, I feel calmer, maybe, but you may not in both running and meditation. But really, like the benefits come like 3 or 4 months down the line when you've been doing it for a long time. Same as running.
Yeah, it starts to click a little more.
Yeah.
You know, Edward asked a great question. Is there a meaningful difference between meditation and mindfulness?
Yes.
And I'll like answer sort of my feelings with it, and I want to hear yours. You know, kind of analogous to, you know, some of that, maybe the exercise you did more in visualization, but even just like the focus needed in just say running itself. I think we can all notice that as we become athletes and tap into ourselves as runners, like we become more mindful of our bodies, right? Like we do get better breathing. We understand like what hurts, the difference between being tired, between, you know, like more of an acute injury. And so we almost have this heightened awareness of what's going on. And then there's also something about if you're in a workout when you're running and you're really focused on what's happening, like that is almost a meditative exercise. Like you are just, you're just going through here and everything else gets pushed out. And I think we can all speak to like the balancing effects that a run work or any workout can provide, because it's like, I'm de-stressed, I'm not thinking about work and anything. And that's mindfulness. I think the next step is removing even the running part and just sitting. Yeah. And that becomes more of a pure thing.
I don't know if you flop the word. I would flop the words a little bit, and you know, I used to think of running it was my meditation, and for years I had running as a thing I did every day. I was breathing deeply. I was by myself. I didn't use music, and it was kind of time that I had for myself. And I realized when I got injured, and this is right before I met you, I went through this kind of mental downturn, and we see this all the time from athletes in our community because they get injured or something happens and they have to take a couple days off or a week off or multiple weeks off or they can't do their race. And like mentally, and I'm sure a bunch of you guys can attest to this, mentally you just kind of start to melt down a little bit because you're like, well, this thing I had that helped me regulate myself now is gone. And so for me in my life, one of the things that has been a replacement of not of running just in general, but of where do I get that solace? Like where do I get that the mental clarity that I used to only get from running? Now I get it from running and working out, but I also get it primarily from meditation, which can't be taken away from me as easily. You know, there's going to be a point at some point in all of our lives where we're going to have to stop running for a period of time. Yeah. And what happens to your mental health at that point? Because a lot of us use running as a way to improve our mental health.
I don't know if like someone has over meditated before.
It'd be hard
unless they're like they've gone on some inadvertent like hunger strike and they've just sat there for a really long time.
People meditate. I mean, I'm on
What is the longest time you've meditated for?
In one
sitting. In one sitting. How about you guys? What's the longest you've meditated
90
for?
90 minutes.
90 minutes?
Yeah.
How did it feel? Did it feel when
Maybe
you did
a
it
little
for
bit
90?
longer than
Did it feel like a long time?
No, when I go on these meditation retreats, I mean, the schedule is basically starting at like 6 a.m. You have your first sit, and then that'll be for like 45 minutes, and then you go and have breakfast. But the breakfast is a meditation. You're silent, and you come back and you alternate between a walking meditation where you're walking really, really slow. It's not like a hike. It's like you walk really slow, like 10 paces, and you stop and you turn back and you go 10 paces, and you basically do the same thing over and over again in as boring a way as possible. And that's the meditation. Then you go back and sit down. So for about 15 hours a day, you go back and forth between these. And I don't sleep a whole bunch because, like,
did you Strava it? Do we know how much distance you covered?
Yeah, probably like a whole 400 meters the entire week. Yeah.
What is the opposite of KOM? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, to answer your question, like I think I would get up really early at like 4:30 and like sit for a little bit extra.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens to your mind after that sort of a kind of extreme experience.
That's cool. Other people are chiming in here. Running Girl says, usually 30 minutes is enough to keep me grounded, but I had to build up to that for sure.
And if you do yoga,
Dave says a pre-dawn 30-minute session.
Yeah, that's great.
John's Conscious Life.
Yeah.
I used to meditate all the time a few years ago. I have no idea why I stopped, LOL. Thanks for the reminder. Well, we're glad we can help you live your YouTube username.
I think that there are so many things that we feel about running in terms of the good feelings that we get from it are available to us through meditation, and I think that they really fit really well. I used to think of, like I said, running as my meditation. I actually now think of, to go back to the mindfulness comment, I think running can be mindful. I think when we put on like headphones and listen to a podcast, it's a little bit less so.
Yeah,
but
tuning out.
We're always talking about like listening to your body and kind of being present with yourself while you're running. So mindfulness, I think, can be a practice that you take towards anything, whether you're typing your computer or you are getting a drink or eating or running
or having a conversation with someone. Like you're just very. Are you using mindfulness and present? Is that the same?
I think mindfulness and presence, I look at it as
a lot of overlap,
much more similar.
Yeah.
Right. But meditation, like in the traditional sense, meditation, there's walking meditation, there's sitting meditation, there's lying down meditation. There's a fourth one. Eating meditation.
Yeah.
I think.
Edward asked this, and these are some things that I want to bring up. Like, can you talk about the common misconceptions about meditation? Some of the things for me, and you hit on this before, was that, the goal is to be, quote unquote, tranquil and peaceful and to be able to sit for a long time quietly, and that if you struggle, you're not good at it.
Right.
And one of the things that I've sort of learned in doing this, and this has actually helped me both in workouts and it's helped me kick coffee, I don't drink coffee as much, is really acceptance. And the idea that I'm not trying to get somewhere, I'm just accepting where I currently am right now. So that means if I'm agitated with something, sometimes we create more agitation for ourselves because we're in an agitated state and we want to leave the agitated state, versus being like, you know what, I'm agitated right now, but there'll be other feelings too, and this will...
You observe it.
You observe it.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing that happens when you're there, where you're like, I'm stressed. And you just sort of notice it, and your goal is no longer to get rid of stress, your goal is just to sit with it, and then slowly it just kind of bubbles and floats away. And like the best analogy that they actually give in the Headspace app is like if you're trying to sleep.
Yep.
Right? If you try to force yourself to go to sleep, I need to go to sleep right now, it's like the harder you try, the less likely it is to happen.
Right.
But sleep is this process where just by kind of relaxing and sinking in and letting go, that's where it sort of happens. But like with coffee for me, I've actually drunk less coffee because I realized that I was trying to use coffee to fight fatigue.
Interesting.
And it was something where I like the flavor and I like, the morning ritual of it. I love, going to places and on like a Saturday morning after a run, stopping and getting coffee and just like sitting in the sun. I love it. But I noticed that I was like drinking like a thermos of coffee at like 2 in the afternoon because I was tired. And then I also realized I was like, well, coffee actually doesn't change my tiredness. I'm still tired. Now I'm just like tweaking out.
Yep.
So now I'm like, you know what? I'm tired right now. That's okay. And it's going to go away.
Yeah, I think that there are so many things that you can kind of, like you talk about coffee and like you didn't really realize why you were doing it. And that kind of goes towards the whole thing of mindfulness. And Edward was asking, what are the common misconceptions?
Yeah.
I think, right to your point, that this idea that you should be tranquil is one. I like this analogy. Somebody once told me, like, if you had a puppy and you're trying to teach the puppy to sit down or be still or whatever it is, and you put the puppy in the middle of the room, if the puppy fell asleep, like, how much learning would there be? Not a whole lot. But what the coaching of the puppy would be, the puppy kind of gets up and walks towards the door, and you pick the puppy up and put it back in the middle of the room. And then it gets up and it goes walks towards something else, and you pick it up and you put it back in the room. And it's the picking the puppy up and put it in the back of the room. That is the learning. That is the benefit. That is the point where like you're on some sort of learning curve. And so similarly with meditation, sometimes you'll be your mind will wander, and it's the point where your mind wanders, and then you realize, oh, my mind's wandering, crap. And what we do is we punish ourselves. We say like, oh crap, I should be meditating. Oh, what am I doing? And then you go back and try to focus on your breath again. And really, what it is you want to reward yourself at that point, because at that point is the point where you are getting coached.
The fact that you're actually aware that your brain is wandering, that's the victory.
Yeah, the victory is at the moment where you realize, oh, my mind wandered. That's the point where you're getting the most benefit if you reward yourself.
Yeah.
And say, oh, wow, okay, this is my awareness coming back into focus.
I
just realized that I'm so mindful that I forgot my smoothie in the other room. I made it and I didn't actually.
Well,
I'll be right back.
go mindfully get your smoothie. One of the things that I've also heard for some people who've practiced for a while, and people I listen to, sometimes they'll say if they're doing a 20-minute meditation, even if they've been doing it for a really long time, their brain might be bouncing around for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and it's not until those final few minutes that things really settle and calm down. So I think, sometimes I'll only do the 10 minutes. I still feel like I get benefits from there. But letting yourself kind of settle in a little bit more, I think you get some more benefits that way. John's Conscious Life says, great explanation of acceptance. Nice. Thanks, my man. Lizzie Runs Far says, hey, that's really good. 30 minutes to Running Geek Girl for sure. That is really, really good. The other thing that I found that's helpful in terms of acceptance
Cheers.
is, oh, thanks, man.
I
Take a little bit.
forgot to put anything sweet into it.
That's all right. I always like
It's
that.
very healthy.
Oh, super healthy right now. We're crushing health. So this is another thing that I've seen as a running coach, working with athletes and new athletes. Sometimes when a new athlete goes to their second race or third race, they're a little bit dismayed that the race didn't feel easier. In fact, sometimes it almost felt harder.
Yep.
And you're kind of like, yes. It's almost like as you get better at running, your ability to push higher thresholds for longer periods and basically longer amounts of pain is what's happening. So there's a real thing with running of acceptance of pain.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes with a lot of runners, and this is where meditation could be really helpful, is if you are not running hills, not doing speed work, not doing intervals, and for you beginner runners out there, there's a little fear there.
Yep.
Learning how to accept that and embrace it is really.
If you're in the pain, I mean, there's so many analogies because you're always talking about something inside your head. But so another analogy that I always come to is this idea of like if you're in a movie theater and you're watching a movie, when you're watching the movie is like happening and you're not really aware that you're in the theater.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just in the movie. And then the lights come on and you're like, oh, wow, I'm in a theater. And that's kind of like the idea of, imagine the movie being your life, right? And like we're in our lives all the time.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of pop-out moment of like, oh, this life is just, like there are things that are occurring that are happening for me, but I can be aware of what is happening and a little bit outside of it. Not in a disassociative way, but in a way that I can be like, oh, like,
Yeah.
I'm at the third quarter, like the mile 19 of a marathon. Of course, like there's a lot of pain in my body. I'm experiencing a lot of things at this point, and I can be just a little bit of aware of what's happening, as opposed to being like, my life is ending. Things are like really, and that sort of thing can be really helpful.
It can, and even like in micro moments when I've had places where I've been like on the threshold, and I'm starting to notice like the little quivers of part of my quad or hamstring wanting to lock up and starting to cramp, and if you like freak out and resist, it just locks up and gets worse. But if you're somehow able to notice it and breathe through and just sort of subtly make some shifts and adjustments, I've been able to successfully like ride that line without totally going over the edge.
Yeah.
We haven't done yet?
Oh, we haven't told people
We've been so mindful and in the moment that we haven't even talked about the end of the show, which is our giveaway.
All right, the giveaway, guys. Today, hit the link. Some of you guys have been here for a long time, so in the description, there's a link. We're going to be giving away some UCAN stuff. We have some TRE goodies we're going to be sending you. It's a potpourri mix. We went through and looked at like what we have. Unfortunately, this man made so many amazing hats. Actually, he didn't make that many, but like 150 hats.
Yeah,
and we are sold out. We're gone. They're done.
No, they're done.
And so we're going to have to create a new
We have to get some
hat.
more.
Yeah.
Well, we never done hats before, and it was first design, so we just wanted to see, what would happen.
Yeah,
because
are 100.
we have only so much closet space
Right.
back here at HQ.
Yeah.
But it was great, and that means we'll have to do a new order. And t-shirts.
We got t-shirts coming. We are working on trying to figure out a better way to provide you guys with TRE gear.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that we've done it so far is that Nate spends an entire weekend shipping, packing, and mailing stuff. And really, like, when we sell gear to you guys, we don't make money on it. Like that's
Yeah.
not something that we're interested in doing. We're not in the t-shirt business, but we love to like make stuff for you guys, and we love you know that you guys like to wear stuff promoting good training and stuff like that. So it's great. We do just like a more flexible way that doesn't take up our weekends of becoming postmen.
Yeah, with our small team, and then the inevitable things of something gets sent back or there's a wrong size. Like we want to have the capacity to.
Somebody's actually it wasn't
To wear
nobody sent it back, right? It was
It got sent back.
It got sent back as the postage was wrong.
Something there. Anyway, gear's on its way. There will be more things, so look out for that. And we are doing our little giveaways as we're just started this whole thing off. So make sure you enter. If you enter this week's Gleam Link, we're going to do the drawing next week.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing live drawing.
And we'll be doing a drawing this
today for our last week's show, which is going to be our Surf's Up race. Do we want to talk about the Surf's Up race real quick?
And if you were to look on our YouTube page and go back to last week's show and find the link there,
you can still enter.
It is still open for the next 30 minutes if you wanted to do that. Now, if you already ended last week, don't bother. But I wanted to segue this meditation talk into breathing with running because, like meditation has a lot of analogies to running. I think there's so many benefits. If you haven't tried it, I highly, highly recommend. You're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything. You're not going to get a real taste of what it can do for you until you've been doing it for a little while. So I would say set aside 30 days and say, I'm going to meditate as many days as I can. Don't say I'm going to do 30 days or bust. As many days as I can, and don't punish yourself if you forget it. If you miss it, just do it the next day. If you try to get into this thing of like, I mean, it's really hard to start habits like this. So be very forgiving with yourself. That is what meditation is about. And I highly recommend that. And I like talking about that because I think it is a analogous to running, as I mentioned. I think it is if you run, I think meditation is a natural extension of that in your mental and physical health. But there are a lot of direct things around breathing. When you're meditating, a lot of times you're focusing on your breathing. And we wanted to talk about breathing as well in running, whether that's breathing to get rid of a side stitch, whether that's how do you think about your rhythmic breathing when you're running at different paces? How do you the nose breathing mild? We'll talk about that. And there's a lot of stuff around breath, not necessarily directly related to meditation, but related and specifically applicable to running.
Yeah, I think there's such a connection between the physiological, the mechanical, and even the psychological, right? Because we've talked about, okay, there's a meditative aspect that gets us in a more centered, focused, non-reactive state, which is productive and conducive for pretty much anything we want to do.
Yep.
But there's a lot of things that can happen mechanically and physiologically as well. Like if I'm a better, deeper breather, I might be getting more oxygen in per breath. Like a powerful thing that way. I might be breathing into my diaphragm a little bit more, so mechanically my pelvis is a little bit more stable every time I'm running from one step to the next, and I've got better hip position and better running posture. So it's like we know that when we start to go reactive, we go here, the shoulders go up, I breathe through my chest, and this is where we get in that panicked state. It's not productive, depending on where we are, right? If you're getting chased by a bear, by all means, you've got that little shot of adrenaline that's going to get you where you need to go in, those 30 seconds. But like, if you rely on shots of adrenaline, those are going to fade in a 10K or half a marathon.
And breathing is such a crucial element of nearly every physical thing that we do. I mean, and some things that are more mentally. But we look at like breathing being one of the actually. So my friend has a company called Spire. We've actually given one of these away. It's a device that you can put on in your clothing now. They have things that attach inside your waistband, and it gives you like a sense of what your breathing is and how it's related to your stress, because breathing is one of the few things that you can control that's physiological, that is under your control, unlike say your heartbeat,
right?
That has a direct relationship to your psyche. And so when you think about running, I mean, breathing shallow versus breathing deep. When I in music, I sing, and so we talk a lot about breathing through your diaphragm. When I was doing like jiu-jitsu and like judo and that sort of thing, breathing to like calm yourself when you're in like a tight spot. That was a really big thing. It is almost always an element in a physical, any sort of physical endeavor that breathing can really, really play a big part. And running, I think, is hugely important because it absolutely, you're talking about adaptations of your cardiovascular system. So learning to pay attention to your breathing, and if you are somebody who breathes really shallow or carries a lot of stress in your shoulders or tightens up, like that is going to affect your running.
And there's another thing which is always interesting to me is this connection of breathing with movement. Now, Craig and I are both, former triathletes in life, and I didn't grow up as a competitive swimmer, so that was sort of new to me.
I've done 3 triathlons, so yes, I'm a former triathlete.
You've only done 3?
1 sprint, 1 half marathon, 1 full marathon,
1 Ironman,
and I retired.
That's
at the top of my game.
Amazing. Well, anyway, with the swimming component, what's really interesting is that you have to connect your breathing with your stroke, right? Like you can only breathe so many times. I can't breathe with my head down underwater. And so I think one of the struggles with new swimmers, and I was a newer swimmer at the time, was like, how do I do this thing where I'm going really hard and I'm connecting my breathing where I don't feel like I'm drowning in the whole thing? And it just makes you aware of this connection. And then if you can bring that connection to your running, it totally changed the game for me.
Yeah.
Because before, I think I would just like run and things would hurt, and I would just probably spaz out a little bit. I was just like, just kind of breathing, and then the connection of like, oh, could I inhale for a couple number of steps and exhale for a couple number of steps? Like just like different ways to connect that and get recentered. That has been a huge thing. That's super beneficial.
Awesome. What are we getting in here? Lizzie says, hello. Miwa. Oh. Carrie Hale. I cannot see your name, Carrie, without thinking that it says Kale. I don't know why, but I just can't.
What are we seeing here?
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about the virtual... Do you have a medal? Where's our medal?
I don't know. We should somewhere. I don't know if I have it with me.
So you can look on the link below. We have a very cool, like, wooden carved medal with the actual metal element as well. Designed by our man over here. Very cool, and it is part of our Surf's Up 5K. Yeah. We are doing this. It is a great time to do a 5K at the early part of the spring. It's why we're doing this, and this one's actually sponsored by Reebok, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we have hundreds of people in there already. We do have a limited number of medals, so there is some point in the next...
There's a few limited things that are happening here, guys, and I'm dropping the link.
Oh, right,
Edwin,
the price, right.
Edwin from El Salvador just jumped in. So one of the things that you guys get by signing up, if you're not already a training club member, is a free month of training with us. And what we want to do is we don't want to just race with you, but we want you to train with you too. And we are timing our next live 30-day challenge to start the month leading up to the race. That's happening on Sunday, March 4th. And basically what that means is that to really secure your spot in the live 30-day challenge so that you can do all the training with us in conjunction for the race, to get signed up by this Monday, February 26th. Yeah. So get in this Monday, February 26th. That'll make sure you have a spot in that live 30-day challenge that you can race with us and train with us too.
Yep.
That's gonna be the deal. So we just dropped that link right there, and we'd love to have it. We're super stoked.
Cool. I can't really see what people are saying yet. I'm gonna pull my own comments.
There you go. Let's see here. What are you guys saying?
Let's see.
Edward says, we live in such a fear-averse culture, and I think that has to do with... I'm not sure.
Are you watching YouTube videos in your mind? I think you are. He's reading comments, but he's scrolling past us.
It has been a heavy week. I'm trying to find where the root of this
take control
thing
of the comments here for a second.
Goodness.
Here. Technical t-shirt. Oh, Tone says technical t-shirts able to wear during races.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we have an internal debate about should we have a technical tee or should we not have a technical tee.
We need to get technical tees.
I want technical tees. I wear technical tees every day when I work out. I love them. They smell really bad.
But that's why we have wind detergent.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Wind detergent is actually we didn't actually end up doing anything with them. But
I know.
You guys should try wind detergent. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, we like them.
Yeah.
Tone says, Lizzie Farr, I love trails. TRE should make some shows about it. We should make some shows about the trail running.
Oh, trail running? Yeah, that's cool. We haven't really started our trail running season so much over here. It's too cold.
Not too much.
Too cold, meaning it's about 50 degrees outside right now.
I know, exactly right. And then Carrie says, I'm headed for Eugene, Oregon. Anyone know some good trails, or do you know a good app to find good running trails?
I use the hiking apps.
That's interesting. Yeah. Does Strava work for that? Like, because you could look at a local area and look at routes, route
I
finders.
don't feel like Strava's route discovering ability is that great. Like, you have to go find it on the website first and push it to your phone.
Yeah, push it in.
It's not that great.
It's not that great.
There are plenty of apps. I think All Trails is the one that I'm thinking of.
All Trails.
Yeah, there are plenty of good hiking apps, and I think what you want to is look for a hiking trail that is not technical at all.
There we go.
And those are good running trails.
Pam is dropping in some good tips. She says, hey, Carrie, Eugene has lots of wonderful trails, some in the woods, other through the parks. Map My Run should have some, as well as contact the Run Hub store in Eugene.
The store actually is a great spot to stop in. Yeah.
I love it.
I haven't been to Eugene. I've been to Portland.
I haven't either. I want to get up there.
What's the major race?
No, technical t-shirts are for sleeping. That's what I do with all my race t-shirts. That's
really
funny. I feel like that would be kind of itchy.
Such a great segue. Who said that? Was it Tanae?
That was Tanae, yeah.
Okay, Tanae, there is a company called Bedgear. I want to know what you guys think of these guys because we are going to try this out. And in order to try it out, I'm going to have to get rid of my bed. So
Bedgear?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Do you not know this?
I do not know this.
Okay, well.
I don't keep track of what you do.
All right.
What happens? Oh.
You know Bedgear.
Yes.
So Bedgear we were introduced to
Wait, don't you have a pillow from them?
I do.
Do you like it?
I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay, we've switched roles here.
Oh my god.
So, Bedgear, we were at the New York Marathon, and they had a huge installation. It was like 3 times the size of anybody else's. And we're like, okay, well, we got to talk to these guys. We got the full treatment. We actually went and other than actually taking a nap on the bed, we tried it out. We got fitted for pillows. They sent me a pillow. And it's actually, I didn't know what to expect. It was actually really good. I keep using the pillow. I have 4 pillows on my bed, and I always go for that one. So I emailed Marissa at Bedgear, and I was like, look, I keep using this pillow. I would love to try out the rest of it and do a review of it. Now, let me tell you, it's an interesting concept. The idea, we love the idea that you should pay attention to your rest.
Yeah. Right?
You should pay attention to your recovery as much as you pay attention to your workout. And so Bedgear is about, the whole idea is it's basically taking a performance viewpoint of how does your bed gear, how does your your mattress and sleeping pad and the way you sleep affect your quality of sleep. Now, all of us know you want a good mattress, so on and so forth. And they have some technology, and it's really interesting when you feel the pillow and you feel the cloth. It feels cool to the touch.
Yeah, there's some things where it helps dissipate heat.
Yeah,
they had different level, I guess firm.
Yeah, they fit you for your bed stuff.
And
anyhow,
it's based around this. Are you someone who sleeps on their side, on their back more? They try to customize this experience just a little bit more. And it's nice.
And I'm trying to get them to give us a discount for all of our training club members if they were wanting to purchase anything. Yeah. And then on top of that, we're just gonna try it out and let you guys know what we think. So far, I can say I like the pillow. It's great. But their whole thing is sheets, blankets, pillow top, whatever. They have a whole thing going on. So all that from the fact that you wear performance tees at night. That I don't understand, but.
That was the whole segue.
If I wore my performance tee at night, I would smell myself out of bed.
Well, you need some new ones. You need to enter some more races.
It is actually
fresh shirts.
It is actually one of the questions I have around Bedgear. Is they use performance fabrics, but it's a polyester blend. We'll see.
Yeah.
I won't be sweating as much in that. So
interesting. So we have talked a lot about the different, meditation and breathing exercises. We have some great links. We've put this up. It's in our programs. We try to get you guys focusing on some nose breathing at certain times.
it's an alarm going off.
It is an alarm going off. Not necessarily to run that way all the time, but it gets us breathing deeper into our belly and our diaphragm, which is really what we're going after. And it's kind of calming, and it's really good for your running. So we're super, we always love to push that. We have our Gleam link. Make sure you guys enter. If you guys are just jumping in, we are giving away a TRE goodie bag of some nutrition gear
we'll give away
and some
some
lacrosse
pillows.
balls.
Some big gear pillows.
If we can give away some bed gear pillows, that'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And we're going to be doing a drawing from last week's giveaway at the end of the hour, so stay tuned in those 18, 19 minutes.
Yeah. And I want to have an open question for everybody in listening right now, which is, and if you're watching this and it's not live, reply in the comments because I'll go back and read those. But I want to know what your running community looks like in the city where you are, because one of the things Nate and I have talked about and continue to talk about is how we can enable the TRE community starts to grow, how we can start to enable running groups to happen in your specific cities, and hopefully offer training and that sort of thing. But really, they're just getting you guys together, whether it's at races or for training runs. So we'd love to hear, like, do you actually go to any group runs? Are you looking for group runs and feel like you haven't found a match in your city? If you do any sort of technical training, meaning like interval training or track workouts or anything like that, do you do that by yourself, or do you do that as part of a group or anything like that? We'd love to know. We're very curious about what that is like, because we live in a big city, so there's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of great running and track clubs, and there's like a few tracks in San Francisco, Kezar Stadium, like basically Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, like the track is packed with multiple clubs. Like there'll be like 200 people running on that. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it is insane between the different groups, and there'll be like 3 groups of like 50 runners. Like it's really, really big. And everyone's kind of doing that socially. Sometimes they get a beer after track. The hard thing for me is, like, I don't know. They work out at like 6:45 or 7 at night.
Yeah.
And that is just like, that is so late.
Yeah.
I think I'm in bed by then.
That's ridiculous.
Seriously. I'm in bed by 7:45.
You are phasing out of normal society.
You know why? It's the Whoop Band.
You know what?
You stopped wearing yours.
I did, because I don't have the battery anymore. I gotta give them the semi-new battery.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
We traveled and my battery disappeared.
It did. It's been telling me
Flooded
how
away.
much I sleep. This thing's really cool. I've been wearing this now for a couple weeks. These guys sent it to us, and it tracks your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, which is basically ways of measuring how well recovered you are.
Yeah.
So a sign of being fatigued is that you have an elevated resting heart rate.
Yep.
And your heart rate variability, which is basically, it's sort of like the space between our heartbeats.
Heart rate variability is how much your heart rate varies according to stimulus.
Right.
So, like, when you say your heart rate is 60 beats a minute or 70 beats a minute, it's not actually 70 beats a minute every time, for like 10 minutes. It might go to 69.5, then to 69, and then back to 70, then 71. And what they have shown very, very consistently is that the more your heart rate variability, like, you might think it's actually counterintuitive.
It is counterintuitive.
You might think that, you want your heart rate to be steady at 70. Actually, what you want is your heart rate to vary with the environment. So the more it changes, the more variability that you have, the less stress you have.
Right.
So when you are in a very stressed state, which could be psychological, it could be physiological, or combination thereof, then your heart rate is kind of sluggish in terms of changing to its environment.
Yep.
But when you have a high heart rate variability, it means you have a lower stress rate.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I've realized that, like, I've been able to track this. It kind of helps you, like, evaluate your sleep cycles and how much you sleep, and it kind of gives you some coaching on you need X amount of sleep to kind of get back on track.
Yep.
But it's super cool. And one of the things I actually realized was I made some adjustments on some of my strength workout days, because I realized that I was actually overcooking myself a little bit on the strength days, and every time I ran, I just really didn't have it. And so I've been still doing my strength days, but I've just been dialing back, not necessarily the intensity from the weight standpoint, but just some of the like aerobic component, not avoiding like the 15-minute higher intensity all out sort of thing. And when I hit my run days, I'm feeling a lot better. And also I feel like I'm a little bit more charged at the end of the week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love this. In an interview I was listening to with Ariana Huffington, and she's huge on sleep.
Yep.
And if you guys haven't heard it, she wrote a book about it. She's also like Headspace is like
she's
their
really,
official app.
really good at it too.
She is.
I'm joking.
Because of Huff?
No, that would be really funny.
Oh.
Oh man.
She's been. I know. I'm a little.
His brain is working on a totally different frequency today.
I'm a little slow today, but she's been actually doing it since she's the age of 13. But getting back to the sleep component, she did an interview with Jeff Bezos, who's the CEO of Amazon, and and
drink your smoothie.
I know. I'm not drinking it all. And just to the power of making sure you get enough sleep, like as a high-powered CEO, sometimes the idea is like, I need to work more, so I'm going to sleep less, right? Like sometimes, there's the pride in like, I only sleep 4 hours a night, I only sleep less. Yeah. He's like, I owe it to my shareholders to sleep a full 8 hours, because if I don't, my decision-making ability is 20% less effective. And if I'm making 20% less effective decisions, that affects everything. So it's like I can't outwork my way out of better decision making if I'm really tired and fatigued.
I have never.
So this has helped me with the
been
sleep.
Somebody who sleeps.
So I feel
8 hours.
really smart of late.
I've never slept it's actually the meditation retreats are interesting because there's nothing to do, and so I end up sleeping more than I usually do. But it only works for a couple nights, and then by the third night, after like 5.5, 6 hours, I'm up and
you're going.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like some people do, genetically vary. Some people can kind of function that way. So going back to our earlier conversation around running clubs, running together, other things like that.
Joyce says, I've never been part of a running group. It sounds fun. Right now I run with a friend. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it starts with 2 people.
Today we have different running clubs here in the
Peninsula Club Track, Williamsburg, Colonial Road Runners, Point to Runner Club. So today's got a few different places.
Where would that be? Colonial, Pennsylvania?
Where are you tonight? You guys should tell us. Plenty of choices. Carrie says, we have a group of women, all moms. Sometimes there are 2 that meet, sometimes up to 7. We mostly run in the foothills, but would love to connect with more runners. We run in the morning.
Nice.
That is awesome. Let's see here. Isela says, yes, very interested in finding group runs near Lakewood, Long Beach, California.
Awesome.
Carrie says, we do races close to home and travel as a group once a year. Carrie, that's really cool. And that's where the Ragnar relays can be really fun. It's like when you get a group of runners to come together and do that. Lizzie Run Far says, we have one running club in my little town. I'm hoping to start a mom's run club soon.
Can I do a little commercial break?
Yeah, do it.
Cool. So, guys, I want to introduce you guys to Carlos the Runner. And if you did our Gleam link, which is a reminder, hit the link below to enter into our giveaway. And if you hit that giveaway, one of the things is to visit his page on Instagram and follow him. Carlos is... I must be signed in as somebody else right now. It says we're not following him. I'm following him. I'm on my personal account. But Carlos, I talked on the phone today. Awesome guy. He has his Instagram following. He's in Dallas, Texas. He's like a personality in the running scene there.
Yeah.
And so that's how we heard about him. He is just a running enthusiast, and his channel has kind of created this following because he creates all these memes, which are really funny. And here's the thing. He creates them. These are not copied off of somebody else's thing. He creates these in Photoshop, whatever it is, and like puts them together. And he's really regular about it. It's awesome. Exactly. What's this say? Oh my God.
That is so funny.
I need to know. How come you are so insects? I'm a runner.
That is really, really funny.
So it's awesome. I was such a fan of seeing him. So he is one of our sponsored athletes now, and will be hopefully. Actually, he's going to be coming in for the. He's going to be one of the runners on the in July for the SF Marathon. He said he'll come.
Oh, that is cool.
Awesome. So we are super, super happy to be in contact and working now with Carlos, and we encourage you to follow him. It's free, and it's awesome. So
he's kind of fun. If you
jump over there, Carlos the Runner.
If you like something light and interesting and different in your running world,
I hope that he creates some of these for us because it is awesome. He has these like meme Tuesdays or something where he'll create a whole bunch of memes, and then he has stuff like these themes about like dinosaurs chasing runners, and he has it happens throughout like his whole feed. It's great. It's like creativity mixed with running and comedy.
It's actually very unique. Like
really
I don't know if I've seen something like this on Instagram before.
There are a lot of people that will take things and like just copy and post it to, but this guy's the one who creates them. So freaking awesome. Love it.
Super cool.
Yeah. Look at this. Cocaine, alcohol, crack, tacos, and running. It's so good.
Yeah, right. That's really, really funny.
Awesome. So yeah, kudos to Carlos, and you'll probably be hearing us talk about him some more.
Yeah. And we have a few more partners coming up. How's that going?
Good. Yeah. So I'll talk about that. We decided this year to do a sponsored athlete program. And our sponsored athletes are running enthusiasts, people. So if you guys have people that you really like and that you follow online, let us know. And what we're basically doing is just trying to create a community around people who are running enthusiasts and are posting a lot about running on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. We're all kind of styled off. We create our own content, we create our own videos, we put stuff on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And then there are other people who put only stuff on Instagram, and what we decided is we have already created this community of runners of which you guys are part, and what we want to do is extend that and say we want to create a community of running enthusiasts, people who are creating content about running.
Yeah.
And we're doing it, and we wanted to kind of bring them together. And because we have grown a little bit larger now, we have lots of companies that will send us stuff or want to work with us or something, and so we want to kind of spread that love around. And it's just kind of a feel-good thing. I went and met with Jess. One of our Jess Runs Blessed is another.
We're really trying to make this a relationship. Like we're not interested in.
There's not a financial thing for us.
Yeah, like not interested in anything that's like transactional. And it's the same way we like hanging out with you guys every single week. We really want to connect.
Maybe we should start charging for this live show. What do you think that we could charge? What would you guys pay to see us every week?
Oh my goodness, please. Please.
I think Edward might give us $1. Unless you're like wired, in which case that's 50 cents.
No, oh my god. Get out of here. No, we are thankful that you guys take an hour out of your day to spend with us.
Yeah. We really, really have grown
to
right
enjoy this question.
Yeah.
Let me set this straight.
Where is the value here? No, but we have really grown to enjoy hanging out with you guys, and we love that this is a spot where, especially you come with training questions, come with your questions just generally about running, and then we get a chance to kind of really interact with you.
We were talking about Ragnar's, and some of you guys were bringing that up. One of the things that kind of blew me away last year was that some of our training club runners who are in our programs, and they have a kind of like the way you guys chat every week. We have a Facebook group where those guys will chat and share. They started to self-organize in ways that we didn't even think was necessarily possible. And some of them were saying hey, we really want to put a Ragnar relay together, and we had a group of runners in England who were doing it, and they invited some runners out from the U.S. and actually some of our TRE runners flew from California to England, never having met them before in person, only online, and doing the Ragnar race together, and then staying, and they got to meet each other's families and kids. So it's
awesome.
That's the coolest thing ever. I couldn't believe that was.
I just had a great idea.
What is that?
What if we had a talk show element to our show where you could call in and ask us a question?
I love that, actually.
That would be cool, right? I have no idea how to do that. Zero. But it must be possible. Right?
We should also get a live audience, and,
We do have a live audience.
We do have a live audience.
She's just asleep. Nora's in the background. But
But
that'd be pretty cool. Tell me something. If we had a phone number and you could call it, and then you could live show it's a radio show, Would that would be cool? I would love that
I think
because
that'd be
we get to type it with you guys. But it would be awesome to. There's got to be a way to do this. I'm gonna look into it. Stay tuned. I don't promise that it'll be there next week, but I do promise
we'll see
that
what
I'll have an
happens.
update.
We're always tweaking. Carrie says, "I will pay if smoothies are included."
Hey.
It's not a bad idea.
You know what?
Running Geek Girl says offers a smoothie as payment. Same thing. I love that.
Who is the person from Paris who's going to send us croissants?
Oh, no one was going to send us croissants.
I asked for croissants. They come.
Just because you demand things in the world.
It's not demanding. It's asking nicely.
How
much have you learned? You've not learned anything from me. Good Lord.
Please, people in France, send us croissants.
Yeah. Watch, we're going to get some croissants from Mel.
Mailed croissants.
It's gonna happen.
I feel like
saying
this is funnier than it actually is. I feel like I'm laughing at it more than it should.
Well, Nate's a little off today.
It's okay. Just from Facebook, I wanted to give Melissa a little shout out.
Yeah.
She says, "Hey guys, I watched your video on tucking your pelvis under during runs. I've tried it several times since then, and it has made a world of difference in my legs, back, and core. Everything feels better.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
We're super stoked about that. I'm really happy that video came out.
I love when people. I mean, we have paid training programs in the training club, which you guys know, and we have a lot of free stuff, and I love it when people get benefit from both.
Yeah, I mean, people just tune in, and she also says, "I live in northern Colorado. Greeley has a little over 100,000 people now. We have many run club options here, and different 5Ks pop up in the city all the time. I would like to see more 10Ks for sure. Our running community is awesome, even in the younger ages. Some of the 5Ks are put on by high school students."
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I wonder if there's a way that we can start to support, as opposed to trying to create our own meetups and support some of the running clubs that are there. Offer weekly running tuned-up.
I think that's
videos
cool.
So that people can go through it and stuff like that.
I
totally wonder if you are a part of a running club, what would help that running club become even better, other than shipping this guy out. You would get a hologram of you, and you could do. Yes, I love this idea. I have so many ideas, guys.
You are popping right now in directions.
Someone's
got to bring it. So, guys, 1 minute until we do our live giveaway, or maybe 2 minutes until we see who gets those entries into our Surf's Up 5K.
Yep.
Guys, remember, you can still
114
enter.
seconds. It's a countdown. I like that.
I know, because we just opened registration last week, and we already have close to 200 entries. It's crazy. So we're really, really excited about that.
I think we might sell out on this one.
We might sell out on this one, and we're doing our live 30-day challenge, so make sure you enter in this weekend. I just sent you guys a link with it where you could do that, and we could get you in. We'd be super stoked about it.
Yeah. Great.
This is counting down as we go. I just lost the page. There we go. 80 seconds. Just do it.
Yeah.
All right.
80 seconds till we announce the winner.
One winner is going to get their free entry into the race. And the winner is Dave Friswell. David Friswell.
You recognize that name.
I feel like I know this name.
All right. Fantastic. David in Fort Lauderdale, you will be signed up for the 5K race. And
we're signing up for your marathon, whether you want to or not.
You'll get your bib and medal in the mail.
Yeah.
And a free month of the training club if you're not already a member.
Yeah, so congratulations. Yeah.
And for you guys that didn't win, click the link below, and we will be doing a drawing next week of the UCAN products hella prank calling.
For the live.
You know what? There's no prank calling that's going to disturb me more than this guy being by my side. I mean, prank calls are easy to do. It's just click.
Is it true? If
I can't.
Don't use it. You lose it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, it is right on the hour. I want to thank you again for signing in every week. We'll be back here next week.
Yeah.
I don't know what the topic is for next week. Do we?
It's going to be determined between this week and next week. So we go in. But if you guys have any topics you want us to discuss, keep dropping the comments. We'll check them out.
I want to get into.
We'd love to handle those things.
I want to get into
make this show for you.
A deep session around hamstring tightness.
Okay, I like that idea.
Yeah,
we could get into some deeper dives on some certain things.
Myself right now.
Gotcha.
Maybe part of the show could be physically showing people how you massage
You get the massage.
I would be willing to sacrifice my hamstrings while you massage. Really get in there. We get like a table out here, and you can demonstrate how.
Hey, dude, you already have the scented candle. Like Craig's been starting to have a scented candle.
I've been in California now for 8.5 years. It's starting to kind of just
get there.
Yeah.
Scented candles, meditation,
Well,
strumming the guitar in the morning.
I do play guitar in the morning.
It's all good.
Finger picking though.
Anyway, guys, thank you again so much. That's all I got.
Yeah. You know what he's thinking? You know he's thinking. He was like, "What YouTube video was I watching when this started?"
Oh my god! I gotta go back to it. I don't know.
You know what? I think we're just gonna have a 30-minute break where you can just like veg out, sit on the couch, watch TV,
get it all.
Just
out of
get
the
it out of your
system.
system. We're just gonna have a break, and then we'll come back.
And then we'll jump back in.
Guys, thanks so much. We'll see you guys next time. Don't worry, we have an outro for you. Watch how
As
this
usual.
happens. There we go.